We finally had a match worthy of a semi-final. Uh, haven't seen India perform so consistently for a while. So, Sunil, tell us about the history and whether this India is unbeatable, especially in ICC tournaments.
Well, they are unbeatable most times. Some might want to remind us about the 2023 World Cup final, or they might not want to get reminded of that final. But yes, 4 consecutive ICC white ball tournament finals is a big deal. I don't think any team has done that in the past, and I don't think India has been that consistent in ICC tournaments either. But a little more tongue in cheek, I think it's also the curse of winning 4 man of the match titles in a T20 tournament. Shane Watson did it
That's
in
right.
2012, and Australia lost that semi-finals. And now Will Jacks has done it again. So probably there's something that players can avoid in the future: get 3 man of the match awards and then not play before the semi-finals.
Yeah, you raised that point in the last preview. So yeah, that's a good callback. Uh, Another guy who probably could have got a man of the match, Bettel. What a knock. Samir, what were your impressions about that Bettel knock?
Yeah, I mean, wow. It was impressive by any stretch of the imagination. In a big chase, 22, 23-year-old kid. I think they lost Butler and Salt and Brook pretty early, and then, he sort of from the start, from the get-go, he was just on it. First he batted with Tom Banton. And then when Banton went, it sort of looked like maybe the match was again sort of ebbing and flowing away. But he just kept going. He kept going with Will Jacks, and then he kept going with Curran at the end. And I mean, it was a great century. I mean, it was clean hitting. It was great rotating of the strike. It was just everything was on. So it was very, very impressive.
It was amazing because I was listening to Brendan McCullum at the end of the game saying how when they actually got him in the squad, he didn't have the numbers to back it, and
Mhm.
they just went with the research they'd done on his talent. So made me wonder what happens to Weber Suryavanshi. How does he fit in this? Because he has the numbers and the talent. So these youngsters need to come in soon.
They need to. A guy like Suryavanshi, I think not in the international, not on the national side yet, but probably an India A team. But that's probably a discussion for later.
Yes, let's talk more about the game. Let's talk about our top moments, key moments that you think were instrumental in deciding the game's end result. Maybe we'll start with you, Mr. Talwar.
Well, there were many moments, but I think the one thing that doesn't get enough emphasis is fielding. India was coming into the semifinals at the back of some indifferent games where the fielding hadn't been as sharp as it is expected to be. And when you think about fielding, you don't always think about Akshar Patel, but his attempts in the field were just phenomenal. I mean, it started with, a good catch of Salt, and then the slower ball that Bumrah bowled to Harry Brook, which reminded me of Kapil Dev from the 1983 final, and then the very well judged, very well timed boundary catch of I think it was Will Jacks,
Will Jacks. Yeah.
where he just in time got did all the hard work and then made sure that Dubey had the ball. It just was just very, very sharp and made a big difference to the outcome of the match, and something that we don't always sort of talk about. It's always about who scored the runs and who got the wickets and all of that. So this is key.
No, that's definitely a big game changer. His long strides, and I think even McCullum spoke about that at the end of the game. He was saying India's had the worst fielding
Yep.
whole tournament, and they showed up today. So that was a big one. Sunil, what were your top moments?
I think fielding was obviously one. It was a big turnaround. Samson's innings was brilliant to do that twice in a row. A lot of players have done that twice in a row in semifinals and finals, starting with Mohinder Amarnath in '83. He's done it quarterfinals and semifinals. So that's a big thing. Probably he can do that in the finals as well. But I think Hardik's got to get a lot of mention here. He's got ice running through his veins, I think. For me, he was one of the 3 other man of the match award winners. I think Bumrah and Akshar being the others, obviously. First, he scores at 12 ball 27 coming to bat in the 16th over, and it's very difficult to start hitting from that very time, and it's something that he's done well. But then that 19th over that he bowled, he was hit for a 6 of the first ball, Now, he bowled a brilliant over, but you got to get the context here that he was hit for a 6 by a guy who's just got to his 100, and he went for just 9 in that over. He got Karan's wicket. In a 250 game, he ends with figures of 2 for 38, bowling 2 overs in the power play, 1 in the 19th. I mean, these are figures, these are moments that you would not get from Indian players of the past. Like, you would not get that in the 90s, where under pressure most Indian teams would crumble. And that run out of Bethel as well. We spoke about fielding. Akshar did all the work, but that run out of Bethel in the 20th over, it was an off-balance throw. He
Yes.
went to field. The ball was going to the boundary. It was an off-balance throw. Probably Bethel didn't want to take a single, and he got it to the other end, not to the bowler's end. He got it to the wicketkeeper's end. And I think Pandya is a cricketing hero in his own right. I think he's no Rahul Dravid off the field, but
Yeah.
he's still a cricketing hero in his own right.
Love it. Yes. I mean, ice running in his veins, no doubt. And yes, that run out was quite a moment, because I think when he went back, to that fielding position, the Wankhede crowd like gave him such a welcome. So he was like pumping, and you could see how excited he got once he got the run out. It was a big moment, that one. For me, it was Bumrah. Bumrah's 18th over. A lot said about it, but I think what was interesting for me was, of course, he started that over. They needed 45 of 18. Almost reminded me of India against Pakistan and MCG. Is this going to happen? First 3 balls, Yorkers, right? So on point, Bumrah, and that's when I thought his reputation took over. After that, the next 3 balls weren't great. There were 2 low pull tosses. Sam Curran on any other day would have spanked them, but I think they reached a point where they were just not looking to hit Bumrah. And I thought that was a tactical error. Even McCullum may have said it, that they wanted him to, free hit and just smash, and they didn't do it. So left too much for the end. But I thought that reputation of Bumrah, even though the execution towards the end wasn't the best, that just got India over the line.